Hello viewers! After riding Mont Ventoux in my last video and staying true to my promise to share some of the quieter, less frequented roads in this beautiful part of Provence, we're back to ride a few of them in this video. Actually, there's more than just a few. We were surprised and delighted by the number and frequency of cols here, and how wonderful the rides were.
A ride in Provence?
So let's start with the Col de la Croix Rouge. Starting in Entrechaux and its charming hilltop castle, and setting off in a clockwise direction to reach the first col of the day. The Col de la Croix Rouge can also be reached less steeply from Les Piles on the other side.
Next, keep close.
There's the Ventoux in the distance. Vineyards loaded with grapes. Crickets. Still early morning.
In 200 feet, turn right onto Avenue de la Resistance. Is 938.
On the Col de la Croix Rouge. Summit in 6k. There's the next col that, yeah. Cycling through beautiful olive grove here. 5k at the summit, average of 3%. That's much better than 9s and 10s as it was yesterday for the Ventoux. Sublime. Châteauneuf-de-Bordette.
Our next col after leaving Les Piles was the Col d'Aille. A 6.3 kilometre climb at an average gradient of 5.1%. These roads are just beautiful, aren't they?
Col d'Aille, altitude 718. And there's the view.
We met a lady here who many know as Chamonix Jan. If you're watching, Jan, it was great to meet you.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
And then we moved back to the north of Lyon. A couple of rides, if not one, or maybe 2 rides there.
Having some hot rock treatment. Little swim. So good, isn't it, to cool down?
Tuesday 27th of August. We're just above Le Crestet, the campsite looking towards the Ventoux, which is looking rather stormy at the moment. Been super hot today, got up to 34, and now it's just looking really stormy over there. Rather spectacular scenery over Provence. Really dramatic sky. We're going to be in for a thunderstorm. Just pan you round. Medieval town, Crestet above us. Question: how much would you pay for a hotel room with a view like this?
So after suitable refreshment, we move on to the next day and a few more cols. Riding in an anti-clockwise direction, let's take a look at the Col de Rossas first. We start and finish our ride from the summit of the Col de la Sausse, but this ride can also be tackled from the other side, in Volvant.
Col de Rossas, altitude 1028, 8 kilometres to the summit. And just look at this, no traffic, no vehicles, just us and the hill. Fantastic, really arid here. Now about another 7k and a bit to go to the summit. Fantastic village over there. I guess we're going to ride through it. Look at this landscape. Lizards scuttling across the road. Let me get the camera out again, just because it's so amazing. There's a path along that cliff face all the way over there. Look at that.
Now continue straight on D135.
This was definitely the best part of the ride for me, ascending through a steep, narrow and deserted gorge. It reminded me a little of the Valley of the Tears in Gran Canaria.
Epic. We're at Col de Rossas, altitude 1028, and look around, it's a bit like there's no one else here in the world. Col de Vache, stating the bleeding obvious. And once again, the traffic congestion is getting a bit much.
Just 2 kilometres at an average gradient of 3.4%. Our route was coming from the opposite direction, but from Saint-Nazaire it's 3.9 kilometres and averages 6.1%. This was a beautiful village, but after a good food break we move on to the next and final col before returning to our starting point on the summit of Col de la Sausse. And so we return to Bouvière before the final stretch to the van, parked at the summit of the Col de la Sausse. For those interested in riding this from the west and the south, here follow the stats.
We're in Provence still. I cycled up here today to this point. Just pulled up for the night. Done a little bit of washing. The awning out. There's Sue. There's a view of the far distance. As ever, we'll leave this beautiful location with no trace in the morning. Bye for now.
But we're not done yet. Our next ride will take us over yet more cols, more beautiful scenery, and more perfectly paved roads, and once again, very little traffic. And we're starting from the village of Rosans. Let's go!
30th of August, leaving Rosans on the start of a 50 odd mile ride in Provence, just to the north. Beautiful morning. Off we go. Sweeping roads. Mild gradients, hardly a car. There's a few leaves starting to drop. Well, a bit samey, so a bit samey. Getting a bit sick of all this traffic.
Now keep right. Follow this way for 0.41 miles. Next, go straight.
After riding through beautiful meadows and a tiny hamlet, the road twists its way up through a spectacular rocky landscape before emerging through the trees and the first col of the day. From our direction, it's 10 kilometres at an average of 5.2%. From Valdrome, it's a slightly easier 9.6 kilometres at 5%. Next, Col de Rossas. Please forgive my pronunciation.
Col de Rossans.
Follow this way for 4.07 miles.
5k to go, 7.2% for the next bit.
We're riding from Valdrome, a shorter and steeper ascent from this side at an average of 5.2%. If you ascend from Estable, it's a little easier.
Just look at this. Mile upon mile upon mile of smooth roads. We're on the border of Hautes-Alpes and Provence. Just pan you around here for a bit of a 180. Just how quiet it is in these areas. If you want somewhere magnificent to cycle, virtually no traffic, then this is it.
5 Finally we take on Col de Pommerol, or Col de Fromagère. From our direction, La Chasse, it's an average of 6.4%, but it felt pretty tough riding uphill for over 7 kilometres after such an undulating day. If you ride it from Rosans, where we started this route, it's a little bit less challenging.
It's over 1,200 feet to the top, this col. Blessed with some magnificent scenery. Bit of cloud building. Hopefully keep us a bit cooler on this ascent, which looks pretty tough.
There, we made it, which just left a sublime descent back to Rosans, and the toughest challenge of all, making toast in a van. I hope you've enjoyed the quiet roads and uplifting scenery. We'll be back next time to ride a couple of the better known routes. See you soon!
Beans on toast tonight. Just quickly turn them over before I burn it again. That's the view out the back.